Hello, everyone. Opening to hearing it. As you all know by now, this is when I was doing Rideshare. Um, you know, when you first get in your vehicle and you go to pick up that first client, that first customer, you have to be open to hearing it. And for me, I was always open to hearing it. Reason being, because I believe I'm forever a student. I really do not know anything. Um, I have opinions. I have hypotheses. Due to research, I can have some facts. Due to my life experience, it can be deemed factual to me. But I don't know everything. And since I do not know everything, and since I understand that when I was doing rideshare, that part of the responsibility was to be all ears. Because as you know, those that participate in rideshare are those that participate in rideshare by just being a rider. No pun intended. And even the individuals out there that does not do rideshare at all. However, he or she may drive friends, family around the places. You all understand this, that you have to be alert on the road. You have to have your ears available to sirens, um, if your windows down, what's being said, and just basically about being aware and alert. So when I was doing ride sharing, a person would hop in my car, and I knew I was in for it when the individual will hop in the car and he or she didn't have any headphones. They were not on the phone. And then, of course, I spoke because I would always speak when the individual would step into my vehicle. And then they would speak back. Like after that 3 minutes, 4 minutes, they would usually ask me about my day or tell me about their day. And then a conversation would just proceed after those few words. And I usually like to let the client always do more of the talking than me because I like to listen, believe it or not. I like to listen, and I think that's twofold. I think being open and to hear it when I was doing rideshare just help individuals be comfortable and just get things off of their chest. Um, some individuals like to internalize things. Some people feel as though they don't have anything that they can vent to or share their thoughts or ideals with. But the interesting thing is this: heck, I was always a stranger for whoever hopped into my vehicle. However, I mean, they were already riding with a stranger, and their belief, which was kind of mine at the time, was like, I'll never see these individuals again. So they could free themselves, as the great Fantasia once said years ago in one of her songs. So yeah, they would start venting, and they would get into it, and it wasn't always all bad. Enough of it was bad. Some of it was positive, and then some of it was, they just needed a vacation. And I don't know. I think it's just the human condition, where some may think that they're doing too much talking because I had clients say, "Hey, am I talking your ear off? Just let me know." Or, "Hey, I know you don't want to listen to me," or you want to listen to your music instead. Then, but I would always say, "Hey, it's okay. Go ahead, express it. You can, you can share your thoughts." Because again, I haven't had every experience in the world, and of course, as you all know, those that do rideshare or have read stories about rideshare individuals or rideshare experiences, rideshare stories, however you want to put it, you meet individuals from different walks of life, in different races, different beliefs, different ideals. And for me, I was always open to hearing it all because even though I had agreed with something, it was really none of my business because it didn't pertain to me. And my mindset at the time, and even still currently to this day, it's just like, hey, this is just a different perspective. I don't have to be down with whatever it is being shared with me, but as long as I respect the other party, then that's all that matters. Because that would I believe we holistically as people want is to be respected. It's not even about being right or wrong. And there's one client once asked me, "Well, hey, why are you listening?" And I was like, "Well, I'm driving. That's part of the responsibility." Um, and I told the individual at the time that, "Hey, it's twofold. I'm learning. You're getting it off your mind." And I figured my mindset was, "Hey, I'm doing my part. It's being a service." And by the time they get out of my car, they don't have to take that home. Let's say the client was married. They don't have to take it home. They don't got to take it to their kids. They don't have to write it down on their notepad. It depends on the individual, of course. Sometimes when it was a man, just by nature how a man is, once a man gets something off his chest, we really don't want to go back and rehash it and talk about it again. As with some women operate like men in that capacity, but some women, they'll discuss a topic or get something off their chest. And this is not even pertaining to, this can be something like simplistic as work, something that happened in a meeting or something like that. And now the wife could have vented it to me, got it off her mind. However, once she got out of my vehicle and went into the crib, she said the same thing to her husband, because the husband probably, or the boyfriend or the significant other or the companion, whatever word, whatever title you want to give the folks, asked about the day. And of course, though I wasn't there, my hypothesis, she led with the same thing she just got done sharing with me. Or she had just told her husband, like, "Nah, don't need to talk about it because I just told it to the rideshare driver and he listened to me yak, yak, yak all the way to the crib. He didn't even stop me." So again, that's one of the beauties in doing rideshare, just being able to listen. Just imagine you think you having a bad day, and then someone gets in your car and they share with you that they resign because of poor treatment, or let's think you having a bad day because you had a accident with your, not an accident, but you had a situation with your vehicle. You had to change something very minute like the tire, but then you get a client in the car and they share with you that, hey, they had me doing all this work, but it's not just my work. They're having me do 3 to 4 other people's assignments, and they're not paying me additional pay. I'm like, you know, reiterates me being grateful. And I think when those situations happened, those individuals that were in my vehicle at the time, they were grateful too to be one out of that building, or out of that environment. And even though I had some share to me that they were still grateful for the opportunity, it was just taking a toll, which led to them needing to express themselves to me, which would also lead to them saying, "Hey, excuse me, I need a break. I need to just be able to disconnect from everything, everyone, the world." And it's somewhat, when I hear it or when I heard it, sounded like a great sci-fi story, something from any type of movie out there, time travel, where you can just get away and snap your fingers and there's no responsibilities. I mean, even a single individual man or woman with no children has responsibilities. But I know it was just, expressing themselves, trying to have a moment to where they just didn't have anything they had to necessarily deal with. And it makes sense because we're all human. From me being open to hear it when I was doing rideshare, that's one thing that was reiterated to me. I even heard some folks, some clients say, "I'm not going to let it bother me anymore." They just pay it no mind. And a lot of individuals had the mindset that I had, which was, can't worry about what you can't control. And it's a delicate situation depending on what it is. But like work and individuals tripping, having a different opinion, and I always thought that was interesting. Though I had different clients, that's one thing that most of us agree with. Like, you can't really worry about what you can't control. Because listen, as they said to me and as I said to them, when you worry about what you can't control, that's just unnecessary stress. That's unnecessary worry, and that does nothing. That does nothing except upset the subconscious mind as well as him or her internally. It is not beneficial. However, when you care, but you don't worry about what you can't control, you just like mellow. Now that the downside of that is people can think you don't care. They can try to label you with all these titles, which is cool. Again, it's their prerogative, as the great Bobby Brown once said. Like some of my clients said, they don't, they're not worrying about that no more. They will use the language of what some people currently use today. I'm focusing on me. I'm looking for my peace on my safe space, which I think everyone should be their own safe space. Because if if one is their own safe space, then they don't have to go externally. They don't I mean external. They don't have to look outside of themselves, which most folks do. Plus, they look for validation. So again, I was always open into hearing it, and one of my main reasons was because I felt as though it was one of my duties, and if I had something that I want to vent about, it would be cool if somebody was listening, even if they didn't care, even if they sounded convincing. That's cool because once it's out your system, then you can keep it moving and keep it pushing accordingly. But yeah, I just wanted to bring this to you all today. Like, share, and subscribe, and you all give me a comment. And you can comment if you never did Rideshare. You can comment if you know of someone that does Rideshare. You can comment if you're thinking about just using Rideshare just because you're tired of driving your vehicle, or you just want to have a lazy day. You can leave a comment and just tell me what you think. Are you opening to hearing it? Yeah, that's all for today. You all have a good one. Talk to you all later. Peace.